winter tubes. Here we go. Gonna sew one of my new small resin dream nets together. I like how the more that I'm doing these, the more they end up looking like dream catchers. Predicting the future. If you want to invest now in the dream catcher market, it's a good time. So, I got my super thin wire, barely visible probably, that I sew these pieces together with. This one was fun. I broke it, and so, visible? Yes, I sewed it back together. With even more Frankensteinian looking stitches. I'm going to take another piece of art to elevate this so that it's easier to get my string through the holes. Yeah. I think having a channel where I just make art is probably mostly effective in showing people the sheer monotony of art making. I do the same thing over and over again for hours on end, and maybe if I'm lucky it's pretty at the end. There's probably some meaning to all of this, about the growth of our souls through the constant challenges of life. What are we crafting ourselves into? Beings of greater infinite wisdom, depth of love. What am I? Who am you? What art thou? You know, I forgot to count the holes this time, so I'm hoping I'm getting it right. I think I am. Everything just got thrown for a loop when I had to sew this piece back together. The theory behind this online art making is that perhaps there's something to give. Something that others can find valuable in the strange tasks that I perform. If you want to continue watching, here we are, live again, still stitching away bit by bit. I have 20 of these holes to go through. You see, I make my loops, my stitches very thin at first. Thin? What am I talking about? Thick stitch loops. Does it feel like I'm missing a hole? Guess not. Not missing no hole. Just did something weird. The triangle that this forms is going to be a little more slanted than I usually attempt. Oh well. And by oh well, I mean highly intentional, very cleverly well thought out, just like everything that I do, because I'm an artist. And I always know what I'm doing, what I'm planning. Fascinating. Need to start thinking about what I will name this one. Looks like Frankenstein's heart. Not the prettiest name. Oh, I'm not always a fan of pretty names. I've named one of my pieces the Worm, after all. It's been years that I've been sewing these pieces together. I have learned very well, a most effective way of sewing, which is to try to feed the thread through 2 holes before pulling it through. So this copper thread has a tendency to bind up, kink, do things that I don't like it to do. And so you'll see me holding the loose spool on one side while pulling the other side through. That point of tension prevents it from kinking as badly. Saw a guy on YouTube yesterday with all manner of machines for splattering paint everywhere. It's a very performative process that does result in some really beautiful pieces, actually. I still have much reticence towards actually being a painter. Maybe since my mom is an excellent painter. So for my art, I do everything but painting. That seems like it's going to have to change in the near future, though. Keep getting inspiration to move more into the realm of paint. So I'm getting short with my thread on this end, though it doesn't actually matter because my spool is loose on the other side, and thereby I can start threading from the other side and meet anywhere I want to. Getting tight. Getting weird. Is this going to be what I want it to be? We will see. Leaving this end poking out, I can start threading from the other side. I like this method because I end up having one continuous spool of thread. It's interesting practicing this live stuff. Though I feel at the moment like what I'm doing at the moment isn't directly going to get anywhere. How do streamers start getting attention? Do they? Do they want to? Do I want to? Would it be good for my art? Or would it be just distracting? Who knows? Fact of life is we have all these questions of what we're doing, why we're doing it, day to day, moment to moment. And the important thing is to keep doing and keep making. Caring deeply about having no idea. Imagining this piece as Frankenstein's heart is fun for me, strangely inspiring. And that Frankenstein was a book written years ago by Mary Shelley about many things, one of which being the dangers of man trying to play God. It's something we're constantly obsessed about, historically. Ha! Roughly sewn together. So now I'm going to go through and pull all the strings tight and adjust them so that they fit where I want them to. It's getting kind of weird at the moment. I think if I loosen some of these down here, I can pull it up to the left a bit. Though my tolerances just aren't very high in this frame, so it is what it will be. Ah, I can see the camera through this. I made a resin mask once at Burning Man. It broke in the storm. Goodbye.